shirt designs, where we're going, what we're approving, etc. It was mainly over shirt designs, and believe it or not though, the two main culprits that are criticising what we're approving or not approving as it is, and not even here. But we said we'd put it to the forum to get an opinion to see if we are down the right track or not down the right track. Just a bit of history. Historically, the ESMBA only ever allowed a logo no bigger than 3 inches on the sleeve of the shirt or positioned on the chest. Polo shirts were always a plain style with a collar, and only grey trousers were ever allowed. In 2014, the Rules Revision meeting, the ESMBA proposed black trousers were permitted. It faced heavy opposition and it was blocked. It was seen at the time as a major change to the norm, but looking back, it was such a conservative change. Have I got the wrong one? That's right. So, the management committee then introduced the black trousers below the waist, or black below the waist for the England teams. And slowly it was accepted as part of a new norm to wear grey or black below there, and that was it. Slowly the ESMBA started to allow bigger and bright, more colourful tops, which it was a bit of a Marmite thing. It was either loved or it was hated, and I think people still take sunglasses when they go and play Dorset, but it's not because of the sunshine. Currently, we had to standardise where we were going to what is acceptable, and you've got to remember this is just for like ESMBA, Nationals, Opens, ICCs. To keep some kind of standardisation and not to offend. So what clubs do at club level, at league level, that's obviously managed by the leagues and that, not the ESMBA. When we're approving tops, we're sort of working to guidelines that we've formed in terms of what we allow, what we don't, but mainly to keep the members feeling comfortable with what's on there. So basically we don't restrict any colours now, we generally allow what we like. County names are permitted on the rear of the shirt, no real restriction in size, but as long as they look in proportion. We tend to prevent nicknames or individual names. No nicknames are allowed, but we tend to allow if someone has their name on the shirt or whatever, because some of these nicknames, especially when you notice through the elite players and England players, some of them can be quite offensive, even if it's not to the person, but is perceived to be offensive to the wider community. Sponsors' logos, names are permitted on sleeves and the back of the shirts, and obviously only national, county, club badges on the front of the shirt are still printed names in the 3-inch rule. We've recently been asked why we don't allow large logos across the fronts of garments. And this is the stumbling block we're getting a bit of criticism for, and it's what your view on it. There's a few reasons for this. There's a lot of examples and images on the internet that show failings to consider when designing garments and shirts and what can happen on the front. People end up wearing jackets which, when it's only covered that you'll see in the photos example, can change the complete image that's at the front to mean something completely different and be offensive. Wrong typefaces can be hard to read. Designs can land in inappropriate body parts. This was vetted by the safeguards. The words I used were not permitted apparently. So, but no doubt my pictures as they go, you're either going to love them or hate them, and apparently I can be risky in putting them through. But just some examples of why we're not allowing stuff across the front of t-shirts, and they're not necessarily bulge related, but obviously things can end up looking bad. This is just some examples that are on there. This is a cycle team, same logo on the same shirt, but the logo appears differently and can be offensive.
What's wrong with that?
You should know. But obviously, this is actually meant to say my favourite colour is glitter, but actually it doesn't quite say glitter, it ends up looking more like Hitler. But this is obviously the bird one. Things can finish in very awkward spots of where they are, basically. This actually says Saturday on the front of the t-shirt, so it's just an example of our reasonings to why, where we are with it. That's the current policy. The presentation was quick and simple for what we approve, what we don't, and why. And ultimately, interested to hear your views on it, and then moving forwards, what are your views as members regarding shorts, fabric, team trousers? It's where we go. We've had requests from our counties, can we approve a team trouser with the county badge on the trouser, but we've resisted, mainly because we thought it was going to be a big financial incurrence for the team to say, yeah, you can play in our county team, but you've all got to go and spend 40 quid on this trouser because we're insistent you wear the county badge on your trouser. So are we as a committee right, or are we wrong in where we go? You're the members, and this is to get your feeling of the thing, of where we go. Are we in the right line, or are we completely off track?
From an ESMBA point of view, I think you should have full control, but from a county point of view, you should leave it to them. Most people are going to regulate themselves with colour, so not going to be anything too gaudy, because we're all of an age where, you know.
Now, as an ESMBA point of view, we are regulating where we are. It's just, at the moment, obviously, the main policy regarding shirts is that we're not allowing anything from the front. I know that we took criticism because our own England team had stuff across the front and the new shirts hasn't. We've removed that because how it falls. So it's whether we're right or wrong. What counties do at league and club level is fine. It's just where we're at the national events, especially where we're streaming them more and trying to promote a good image about what we're about. It's whether what we're saying is what you as members believe is right or fair, or whether we're completely off track and you would like us to look at a different direction.
I think you've got it totally right in terms of the logos on the front. You can have a pattern on the front, that's fine. For our county, we've decided to adopt, if we can, black trousers. Because when you have grey trousers, you've got different shades of grey, you can look very scruffy.
The rules at the minute we've changed, so as long as the whole team is in either black or grey,
you don't mind.
It doesn't
matter.
matter.
As a county, we elected for black just to keep it.
Yeah, and a lot of counties have now, so in terms of that, it's fine. Shorts is a big debate, what do you do? And if you say one in shorts, do you have a county team with 18 players in trousers and 2 in shorts? And does it look right? It's in the middle of winter. You'd be surprised. At the World Championships, there was a couple in Scotland in shorts and one from Ireland, and it just... I live in shorts in the summer. This is the first time and only time this summer these trousers are going on, but I wouldn't bowl in shorts. That's my personal opinion.
It possibly gripes some people, doesn't it, if somebody's in shorts, but there again, I suppose what you just said, my shorts come out at the end of February, March. You don't go back in the drawer until November. This is a change for me. Don't be stupid.
Once a year.
I've got 2 pair. What I'm saying is, it might be somebody's personal preference, and at the end of the day, it may be a health type issue that they want to wear shorts all year round. I mean, my postman, if he could deliver on Christmas Day, I'd be in shorts.
There's still a lot of postmen in the winters I've seen in shorts.
Yeah. But again, it's down to what style you like. Do you just say, right, blanket across the board, shorts, must be the chino style.
Tailored shorts.
Whatever.
We've got one particular person in our
He plays for the inter-county team, and he's been pushing us quite heavily about shorts. We've turned around and said, no, you wear long trousers. This is what the county has decided, because we know full well if we get through, we'll be playing somewhere else against others. So he actually arrives in shorts and then changes before he plays. But we've been quite insistent about that. I can't see the whole team wearing shorts. I can tell you that now.
Yeah, exactly. It's just trying to gauge a feeling of are we on the right foot in terms of logos and designs on the front of shirts. Should we start looking at allowing shorts generally or not?
It'd be messy.
I think
and then what style of shorts? There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of things to consider than just someone wearing shorts. It's like
Trousers are easy to regulate, aren't they? Relatively.
I mean, some trousers are almost like jeans.
I think if you go down the line of shorts, they should be like a pair of trousers, plain, simple, no logos or anything. And I know, sorry about this, but Northern England have just kicked it out as well, because there was an item on their agenda for their AGM. They kicked it out.
They passed it at club level because one of the guys wants to wear shorts and it was brought up at the meeting and it was passed.
That was the reason we put it on the agenda. We've been approving shirts, and there's been 2 instances where we've said no because it just falls in a category that could be dangerous and it makes people feel uncomfortable. And then to sort of appease that, we said we'd discuss it at the forum to see whether the committee, because we was told we were completely off track with what the feeling was with the membership. So it was basically to try and find out if we were off track or whether we were.
I think one of the problems, if we don't allow shorts, we're just reaffirming the old stereotype of well, sort of, it's all old people. Youngsters may well prefer, who are coming in, may well prefer to wear shorts. We ought to really be ahead of the game and say, if we're going to allow shorts, they have to be of this particular type. Don't have everybody in the team wearing shorts, because there are some people for whom that might cause offence to other players. But if you allow shorts to be worn, you stipulate what type.
You have to have
It could be a
standard,
seasonal thing, summer
got to be
only.
a standard.
Proprietary bowl shorts.
We're basically talking
Tailored
from
shorts.
ICC level upwards.
Yeah, you're not talking within counties, leagues, you're talking the big stuff, the ICC, the national finals and the Opens.
I mean,
Are there suppliers that you could work with that could regulate the shorts that you recommend you buy from that particular
Now,
company?
working with suppliers is very difficult. Bowls England went down that line where you can only wear shorts at their events that are bought from Bowls England, and they took a lot of criticism from
No, I
that.
didn't mean that so much. I mean, like, if there's a company, Drake's Pride or whatever, that manufactures a set of shorts, and there's 3 or 4 different countries, is it possible to do it that way?
It is and it isn't. We had this issue a few years back when we went through the footwear business, because footwear, we had to really carefully word the law, and I think it took hours to get that redone, because we was trying to appease the players, we was trying to appease the venues we were playing at, and the bowls manufacturers were producing footwear that didn't comply with what the venues wanted, and it was an absolute nightmare. It was like, I remember one nationals, we had massive crowds over it. So it is a minefield, and we just sort of felt if we had some guidelines we were working to, and we was open with what they were and what they weren't, it was at least people knew where they were coming from, right, and where the boundaries were, rather than there. I think the main issue was the shirts and the designs. The team trousers, I think if you insist the whole team purchase a particular trouser and it's 40, 50 quid, in this financial climate, as a county, you're probably completely out of order expecting players to go and do that. As you said, black trousers, you can go into Tesco's and buy a pair of black trousers for what, £5, 10 quid. Whereas
Could you approve shorts either black or grey, provided they got no, what they call cargo pant pockets, or if they, provided they haven't got those on it, so that there's some degree of standardisation.
possibly.
We did it as tailored short.
Yeah, tailored
Something
shoes,
like that, yeah.
so, yeah.
But then
More
just
than
like,
where I play indoor bowls, they come in, there's a lot of shorts and they're all different sizes, shapes, and things. It looks a real mess. I think we'd have to have a standard length. in your
It's
shorts.
very hard to enforce it, and that's the
Well, it
problem.
is, so it's better to stick to trousers. in my
Then,
opinion.
I was just about to say that, so the tailored, when I joined, it was tailored trousers, they were grey, they're now black. You just said they're not anywhere near like a Drake's Pride standard now. Actually, they're much more comfortable to bowling when you buy your own trousers. But the move has been to change that to knitted fabrics, more like a relaxed jog pant without the hem. So you're talking tailored shorts, you should also be talking that sort of fabric shorts version. So Drake's Pride do a pull-on short that's not tailored as such, but it's bowl specific.
Yeah.
Someone is going to come and argue this is as good as tailored because it is bowl specific. It's made by Drake's Pride or Emsmore or whatever the other people is. But one person's standard of neat and tidy is not the next person's standard of neat and tidy, which is why you end up with lots of different qualities. But at the end of the day, I think you should, as a team, look like a team. So I don't mean that you're all wearing exactly the same trousers, but you've got that ethos of a team because you're all wearing the same shirt and you've all got.
I think when you look at the
Some
World
big
Bowls
Trying to make
indoor, the players have gone away from white trousers to white shorts, and it's been a gradual process. But when you look at the captive audience that they've got over the fortnight, there's an awful lot of youngsters in the audience who are looking at that and thinking, that's how you dress for bowls. And I think if we leave it too long to make the change, in the shorts area, if we leave it too long, we're possibly looking at isolating those members, i.e. the youngsters that we need to get into the game. If they think, oh, I've got to wear my school trousers to go bowling tonight, and a white shirt, I've just had that on all day at school. Something's got to give somewhere along the line. And I think we've got to look to the future rather than trying to correct what we've got now.
It's been asked
Are we
more
saying
and
that the shirts policy is acceptable in where we are?
It seems that way.
Yeah, and shorts policy
We need to look at.
needs to be looked at.
I think that's where
Because
we're.
the next question is going to be, do you wear socks with your shorts? It's exactly the same as golf, because in golf you used to have to wear, you wore shorts, you had to wear long socks. Then they changed it.
Okay, I think we've generally got a good enough idea of where we're going and the policies, so.
Just on the shirt matter, Barry, for you to approve a county shirt, do you want photographs or do you want the shirt?
No, we've been approving on the design before they're even put into manufacture.
Right, so you're after a photograph of the shirt. Right, okay.
Well, the shorts, you're not photographing them at all.
Of what?
Shorts,
We haven't approved
me
shorts.
wearing shorts.
Your knees will get fouled on it.
Myself personally, I would prefer them trousers, you know, for the whole team, myself personally.
Right.
We're in the process of now of going around and changing shirts and possibly adding jackets as well. We have to get your approval?
For the counties, we've been approving the shirts in terms so that they're not, because the dress code was there, we've always approved the county team shirts. There's been a couple of instances for club shirts wanting approval, but it's only if they're going to wear them like on the streamed events really and the big stuff. But the counties, we haven't said no to any county shirts. We tweaked one. but none of the counties have physically asked for stuff on the fronts and the jackets. So it's just sort of, yeah, that's fine. It used to be in my predecessor, it was very strict, you know, you can't wear that, you're getting thrown out. So, but okay, I think we get a good feeling of where people are, so. We will move on. Any other business? I know David's got one that he's itching to bring up.
Yeah. I'll read it out to you from our County Secretary. If you're minded to do so, could you ask the ESMBA to share information with the counties regarding the performance of a personal accident insurance scheme? I've asked twice, and Simon Willis has responded that the query has been passed on to the appropriate person, presumably Barry, he thinks. I have then heard nothing. Separately, the Secretary of Golden Valley approached Sutton Vincent directly, and they responded that they had no objection to the information being shared, but it would have to come from the ESMBA. Ideally, it would be good to see the total premiums paid, number of claims submitted, number of claims settled, and the total value of settled claims. None of this is personal or sensitive information. The premium paid to Sutton Vincent represents one of the most significant individual spends for the association, and I believe they have a duty to ensure and report back that members are getting value for money overall.
Or ask the insurance. So basically you want to know how much has been paid out in claims.
Well, how much we paid in premiums and how much has been paid out, yes.
Paid in by premiums is £1 for every member for every year.
Yeah.
So, and you want to know how much they've paid out.
Number of claims.
Number of claims, yes.
How many claims have been refused? I only know of one false claim. Well, we have to ask, yeah. We can ask them for that number, but yeah, I'm not sure. Firstly, it's not strictly true as our biggest expenditure, because it's not. Second, our biggest expenditure.
Okay, well,
But just in there, yeah, I know it's not you, it's your secretary. It's a member's benefit, and from memory from claims, it fluctuates year on year because it depends how many accident claims have been put through. I'll request the information, but
what we're saying is that we want to know
On an annual basis.
on an annual basis. Doesn't matter if it fluctuates.
it will fluctuate on an annual basis.
Yeah, that's what I say. It doesn't matter if it fluctuates. We want to know each year.
Why do
what
you need
reason?
to know that? Why?
To see if it's good money for value for
Value for
money.
money?
But then it's insurance, the whole point of insurance is in case you have to pay out.
Yeah.
Ideally, you don't ever want to have to pay into it.
Nothing happens.
The good value for money bit that you also need to consider for the value for money is how much is paid out for the pound. So the insurance companies look, the premium is £1. If you break a leg, it's 200. If you die, it's 12,000, or I'm just whatever it is, because I can't remember without looking. That's the value for money. I'm not sure how you allocate the value for money for what premiums you pay into how much is paid out for each year. I'll request the information if we can. We'll request the information from Allianz and of what it is, but I think the value for money has to be from what you actually get for £1 if you put the claim in.
Surely the relevant question should be percentage of claims cleared or paid, rather than how much, because how much is irrelevant, because it depends on how many claims and what they're for. Surely, if you want to know anything, you need to know if you've got, say, 100 claims, is 90% been paid, or 10%?
Generally, a personal accident claim is paid within 28. It's quicker than the third part, civil liability is cleared within 28 days. In all the years that we've done it, I only know of one claim that has been refused, and that was refused because the individual actually tried to claim hotel expenses rather than what the fee for the, because personal accident pays out on a damage, an accident to your body, so a broken bone or a rib or hospitalisation, but they tried to claim for an illness rather than an accident and 2 nights in a hotel that they couldn't travel. So that's the only one I can. But we'll request Monday off of Sutton Winston what it's been in terms of how many claims have been paid out and what percentage has been paid out and the numbers, and we'll also send that information out as actually what you get for your pound, even though it is on the website.
It is on the website.
Because that's value for money. If you insure for £1 and get £500 if you have the accident, then
What's my car insurance?
I think the question there, rephrasing it slightly, seems to be indicating that he's asked for the information and hasn't had the feedback that he was expecting.
I think from
probably the reason he didn't get the feedback was that everybody felt it was irrelevant. I don't know.
I actually think the reason the club didn't get the feedback was because I think when they checked the database at the time they weren't registered. I think that's why they didn't get the feedback from them.
Oh, they were a nightmare, Barry.
That's why. That's why they didn't get. That's why they didn't
Lynn and I
get
had to put up
entertained.
with so much. I was a safeguarding officer.
I
for
remember the
county that
club
year.
now, and I think the reason
Total
they didn't get
nightmare.
the information was because they weren't even a member of the association. They weren't entitled to the.
They didn't have the insurance either, by the
Yeah.
way.
When they requested the information, so I think that was why they didn't get it, to put it in perspective. So, but we'll request it. You've asked. We'll
And I shall
request it,
certainly
we'll send it
reply in
back.
that vein to the committee.
We'll request it, right, and
Yeah,
and we'll go from there. To be fair, the way it works with Sutton Winston, their database, like all insurance companies, it's logged line by line, so they will be able to search and actually tell us when that request was made and tell us the reason it wasn't given.
Oh, okay.
And if it comes back that at the time they weren't registered, then you'll have your answer. But we'll get the information for you. I don't personally see the relevance, but it's
They
fine.
weren't. They don't insure through Sutton Winston.
No,
No.
they never have.
No.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are registered this year.
Okay. Yeah, but they weren't at the time even registered with the
No,
association. So.
they were playing illegally during COVID, I can tell you that.
But anyway, any other business? Let's go round. Why are you waving your pen at me?
I want to speak to you.
I want to speak to you.
I had an email a couple of, about a month ago now from a county asking me to bring up at the forum today about England players and their refusal to pay for the counties. I said I'd bring it up and ask the question, what's the stance of the association? It's not a question for myself, it's a question from the county manager.
It's in the England Players Code of Conduct that they're expected to play. Make themselves available for 70% of their games plus national qualifiers plus open competitions. It's down with manager to deal with, but we did stop subsidies the year before. For those that didn't commit to their counties, we refused their subsidies. We took the money away from them.
Didn't that refer to partway through the season? I think it relates to the Somerset team manager, that a particular individual hadn't made himself available to play for any county game.
That individual was on the world's team and was removed.
That's right, and he was
because
out,
he didn't-
and then the question was, they came to the county, had he played for the county and made himself available? We had to answer truthfully that he hadn't, felt a bit guilty for it because he then suffered by not being able to play for England. think that's how it was.
He was down to play 2 in the Brink at the Worlds.
Was it the world? Sorry.
But it should have
This
made
wasn't
him,
from
but
Somerset.
it's
Oh,
in
right.
his player's code of conduct, which is technically a contract, and he should have made himself available. 1, because it gives you a high standard, but 2, players at that level do get a lot of subsidies. They get financial support from us, so why shouldn't we expect a bit of commitment from them to their county organisations and us? It's only fair. So we have hit the year before financially. Those that didn't make the time up and didn't have valid reason for it, we took their money away. In that particular instance, that individual got taken off the list because he had no intention of making it. I wouldn't feel guilty. He had no intention of playing county, but it was one of them pick and choose. But that's not as a whole for the whole of like the England squad, because there are an awful lot that do a lot within their county setups and outside of that, and support the association, raise the profile. And I know we singled out Alex Clay, who's one of the young ones, but he is one of the fine ambassadors because he's done a lot. And to be honest, at the last one he went to, they offered him expenses and he refused it. So it's about putting back into the games, but it's not just all take. So yeah, we have stopped their subsidies.
Yeah, I know the answer. I was asked to bring it up to what the
Basically,
I was asked to bring it up at the
basically
forum.
financially, or they lost, in that particular instance, the player lost his place at the World Championship, so I wouldn't feel guilty, I didn't.
It's like cases of like the British Isles where they normally play that before a lot of the county games. What's going to happen for the following season then? Is that are they going to be refused to be allowed to play for England setup? Because obviously the British Isles normally come before a lot of the county games because that's quite early on in the year, the bowls. So what's going to happen? They'll play that,
Well,
not selected for the Worlds.
It was their punishment was looked at. So we took the subsidies away, so we took the money away, and the money's not given out until January. They don't get the money up front; they get it in January. So if they drop out, they get punished.
Isn't the rule there though to help counties in a
It's
way?
meant to-
Because by asking these people to play, you're getting match fit.
It's
You're
not,
going to be
it's
playing
not
for
just
England.
helping the county, it's helping them as an individual and helping your team in England, because you can't expect to play your best bowls unless you're playing
At a high
regular
standard.
to a high standard. So it's in the best interest of the team and them as players. But
There are exceptions to this, because in one instance, a member of the main team was very bad, his eyes were bad, and he couldn't play. You physically wouldn't have asked him to play bowls. The manager said to the management committee, do we give him his subsidy? We had to agree. It was unreasonable to expect him to play, therefore we had to give him his subsidy. But that was just one out of many.
So, in answer to that question, just jumping back, David, it is on the ESMBA PA schedule, but one of the references for £1, if death is caused from a game, it's a £15,000 payout. Loss of sight, £15,000 payout. Loss of hearing, 1 ear, 3,750. Both ears, 15,000. Loss of a limb, 15,000. Loss of speech, 7,500. Does that mean that I can claim it?
So I think
All of 3.5 permanent disablement, 15,000 hospitalisation, £25 per week for the period. So we'll send it out, but that's.
I was on the committee, but I thought that was arranged.
It's gone up actually. Death used to be 12,000. It's gone up 3,000.
Well, I think what they want to know is what proportion of the claims are, or how many claims are going through a year. Doesn't matter for what, broken finger,
That's fine. It fluctuates, but yeah. Same with the civil liability, it fluctuates. just civil liability claims take a lot longer to go through because they're scrutinised, because there's a third party involved and it becomes a nightmare, but yeah. Okay, any other business? Let's go around the room. Anyone got anything they want to discuss? Shout at me, criticise, comment? No. Why are you smiling?
No, I have to smile.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, I hope it's been an informative day. It's nice to see new faces here. It has been a long one, but thank you all very much and have a safe journey home. Make sure you get your parking card validated.